Happy 16th of December. Christmas is fast approaching now. Perhaps you've already had enough of biscuits and mulled wine, or maybe you haven't even had any festive treats yet. Personally, I tend to be a bit picky with my biscuits, so I've only had a few so far, even though we had our big baking day on the 23rd of November. The really cheap biscuits that you can buy just don't appeal to me. If I'm going to have a gingerbread cookie, a donut twist, or a sugar cookie, then I want the details to be just right. After all, I know I won't be eating too many of them. They just seem to settle too quickly, especially now that I'm pregnant. And yes, we don't eat them for their health benefits, do we? So when I do indulge, I want them to be of good quality and preferably with a healthy twist. Every year, I make sugar-free Christmas snacks. It's surprisingly easy and unbelievably tasty as long as you have the right basic ingredients, like sugar-free marzipan, sugar-free chocolate, or 99% dark chocolate. Plenty of nuts, oats, fresh fruit, dried fruit, sugar-free granola, and so on. This year, I made 3 things. Chocolate-covered bananas sprinkled with nuts, coconut, and freeze-dried raspberries. Yummy. A Christmassy version of Rocky Road chocolate. Always yummy. And my signature sugar-free date balls that taste like caramel toffees. Yes, most of it is gone now, but not all of it. That said, I really do love baking the unhealthy kind of biscuits. And I absolutely adore the smell of homemade baked goods, especially moist honey cakes and crisp, spiced gingerbread cookies. Some people prepare the dough for their honey cakes as early as August, so it can rest and develop flavor until November or December. I don't do that, but every year, as I mentioned, I gather friends who have the time and interest for a Christmas baking day. And this year was no exception. I decorated everywhere. I got the Christmas music going, and I set the table in the sunroom so we could start the day with Æbleskiver and warm mulled wine while admiring the snow-covered grass outside. Then we went indoors and enjoyed ourselves while baking. One of my friends even brought along a pile of traditional Danish cookies. She brought these sweet buttery shortbread cookies called finskbrød, vanilla wreath cookies, or in Danish, vaniljekranse, jødekager, that you've already been introduced to in this Christmas calendar, and specia for us to snack on while baking. Others made oat truffles with coffee, date balls, and cocoa slices sprinkled with sugar. And some were knitting or crocheting, just soaking up the atmosphere around the table. By the way, if you've never tried Æbleskiver before, I really think you should. They are fantastic. Their taste is somewhat similar to pancakes. If you buy Æbleskiver at a Christmas market, you'll most likely be served 3 pieces with strawberry jam and powdered sugar on the side. If, on the other hand, you want to make them yourself, you'll need a special æbleskive pan or skillet with 6 to 8 half-sphere indentations to cook them in. I find them quite fun to make. Of course, you can also buy them frozen. In that case, let me give you a tip. Go for the ones with cardamom. They are definitely the best. The modern version of Æbleskiver doesn't exactly contain apples, but if you go back in time, Æbleskiver were quite literally slices of apple dipped in batter and fried in lard. In the old days, servants were even given Æbleskiver and a type of fine bread as a Christmas bonus. But now that I'm surrounded by so many lovely international people, I think it's only natural to ask them what their favorite Christmas treats are. Who knows? I might even find a new favorite myself. Hey Lila.
Hello there.
So you're from Hungary, and I was wondering if you have any favorites when it comes to cookies or biscuits or cakes during Christmas.
Yes, it might be a very basic answer, but mine are gingerbread, and it's because I have some very fond memories connected to it, making it together with my mom and sister during Christmas time. If I would have to say a very Hungarian Christmas treat, it's called bagli, and it's a poppy seed roll. You can make it with poppy seed or walnuts as well, and it's every Hungarian children's dream to have that on Christmas Eve.
So poppy seeds or walnuts, which is your favorite?
Poppy seed, definitely.
Hey Martin.
Hey Vigdis.
So do you have any favorite Christmas cookies or maybe cakes either from Poland or from Denmark or somewhere else?
I think that I do when it comes to the cakes, and my favorite ones, I have two types of them. One type would be Karpatka, and I don't know how to directly transfer it to Danish or English, but it's a cake with like vanilla cream sprinkled with powdered sugar on top, or cheesecake. Cheesecake is my favorite, always.
Is there a particular Christmas edition of the cheesecake?
I wouldn't say so. All of them are good, so it's in overall my favorite, but cheesecake on Christmas, it needs to be there.
Hey Valeria.
Hello.
So, Christmas cookies, that's our hot topic today. Do you have any favorites during Christmas?
I think that gingerbread cookies have been my favorite ever since I was small. It was a classic during Christmas in my family. Ever since I moved to Denmark, I had one more favorite, which is vaniljekranse, the small vanilla butter cookies that I really love. So I think these two types will stay as my favorites.
Hey Matteo.
Hey Vigdis.
All right, so the big topic today is Christmas cookies or Christmas cakes. And you're from Italy, so I was wondering if you have any favorites, maybe from Italy or maybe even from Denmark.
Yes. When it comes to cakes, I would say Pandoro is my favorite one, which translated means golden bread. And it's a very simple cake. It's nothing more than a sweet bread, actually. But it's perfect for breakfast with milk. Mm-hmm. And the second one, it's panettone, which is kind of famous. It's, again, like sweet bread, but this time it's filled with raisins and candies. Mm-hmm. When it comes to cookies, I would say my favorites are baci di dama, which are lady kisses in English, I guess. And it's a two-layered biscuits made of almonds and filled with usually chocolate cream. And mustaccioli. Mustaccioli are from South Italy, and they are again made with cocoa powder. So it's a chocolate-based biscuits, but it's very soft. So the texture is very spongy, let's say, and soft.
I have a feeling I'll have to try out those Hungarian bagli. In my childhood home, we always made jólkaja. Thin, crispy cookies sprinkled with cinnamon and sugar and chopped almonds. Those are the ones I remember best because they were the most fun to make. Sometimes we also experimented with vaniljekranse and kleiner. Oh, and we made marzipan treats too. All of us siblings would sit in the kitchen with a lump of marzipan, rolling it into balls, coloring it with food dye, or adding rum or mint essence or this dessert mixture with pistachio flavor, and then dipping them in chocolate. Sometimes we'd make little stick shapes and dip just the tips in chocolate. It was the coziest thing in the world. In many families, it's also common to use nougat, but that's not really our thing. Oh, and speaking of marzipan, not everyone is thrilled about eating marzipan treats that kids have had their hands on, but luckily, the kids are more than happy to eat them themselves. Have a wonderful 16th of December, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.